talk about one of the things we've done to simplify our lives since we've moved to Sydney. So we haven't had a car since we've been here, and as it stands, we've got no plans to get one in the near future. One of the benefits, of course, of living in the city is that there's great public transport and kind of everything's a bit closer by. Certainly when we were living in the countryside in Wiltshire, we would have really struggled to live without a car to be able to get and do any of the basics in life. So, bit of a change of lifestyle for us. And I thought I'd share some of the real positives that I found from living car free. So I think the first one is that I just noticed so much more. So I'm naturally travelling at a slower pace and looking around more and more present, really seeing like all of the different things, hearing the different sounds. I think, like a lot of people, I kind of tuned out a little bit when I was driving. Had the radio on, wasn't really paying much attention to my surroundings beyond what was happening on the road. Whereas now I'm just travelling that bit slower and able to take so much more in. It's really enabled me to see so much more that's going on around me, really appreciate all the different buildings, the architecture, the nature. Yeah, absolutely great. I'm just noticing so much more. The second one's a really obvious one, that I'm just getting masses more exercise. So I'm walking so much now, and not only walking but carrying stuff as well. So I'm actually getting loads more exercise. I'm getting that incidental exercise that you don't kind of notice. But there's so much research out there that says that kind of that on constant exercise, small amounts and walking is more beneficial to your health than kind of hitting the gym for a fixed period and then sitting down all day. So I'm just getting up and moving a lot more, spending so much less time sat down, which is great. Also, obviously really good for the body, really good for the mind, but also great for the digestion. You've got wins left, right and centre with that one. I've just noticed that I'm eating better, feeling better, sleeping better because I'm just getting all of that extra exercise. So one of the other things that I've really noticed, and it's a real thing around time management, is that I'm building margin into my day naturally. So margin's that kind of white space around the activities that you're doing. And when you're relying on public transport and having to walk to places, then you naturally give yourself a little bit more time. So you're creating that margin around between the activities, which is so much better for your mental health. And it enables you to kind of spend time context switching between things so that you've had time to process the last thing before you're ready to move on to the next thing. I'm really just loving having that. It makes so much difference. It really helps me to be able to kind of really focus on whatever it is I'm doing at each activity. And then by the time I get on to the next one, I've kind of moved on to it. So I've had that like little space in between. It also just means I'm just not rushing all the time. So I'm leaving extra time to make sure that I'm not late for things. But that means that actually all of my travel is so much more relaxed than it used to be. I think another key one is that I'm just getting outside in every weather. We've had everything from storms right through to blazing sun, and I have been outside in all of it. And it's really good. It's really making me get fresh air exercise every day, seeing nature changing and responding to the weather. It's just so good for my soul to have that. Again, I just get to really appreciate the seasonality of life. And watching as things change, as the nature changes, as the animals are changing and doing different things. I've seen so many cool animals, and just noticing that kind of natural rhythm of life as I've been going through. One that I wasn't kind of expecting was actually those little connections with people. There's something really nice, especially at the moment when I'm not really seeing that many people. I don't really have a circle of friends here yet. And just those, like, as you're sat at the bus stop and you smile at people, you have a little chat, or you talk about the weather, or something happens and you all laugh about it, and it's just those little interactions. And I'm really loving that. And I have to say, here, people are so much more friendly. I think anyone who's been on public transport in London knows that, making eye contact is not the done thing. But here, absolutely, people are really happy to say hello, have a little chat, move on. It's really great. And for me, those little incidental connections have been so good for me, and just helped me to kind of have that little bit of human contact during the day. So I'd be really missing that if I was just getting out, going straight to my car, and then getting out the other end and doing whatever I'm going to do. So yeah, really enjoying that. And I think the final thing, that kind of sixth thing, is just the mind wandering time. So I've been doing quite a lot of reading around things like around mind wandering, and how kind of when you let your brain relax and go its own way, then actually you often come up with your best ideas, your solutions to your problems. Like sometimes you just need to let your mind do its own thing so that it can process and put everything in order. And I have to say, I find like sitting on the ferry or sitting on the bus or just walking along, doing whatever I'm doing, my mind often just kind of starts to go off in its own little direction. And I really, I'm finding that really good. And actually, it makes you feel so much happier and more content. And I have definitely come up with loads of great ideas, and it's really nice to have that time and just to have it built in, but not feel like wasted time. And there's just something really nice about just letting your mind go wherever it wants to go. So I think in terms of just the key things that I've learned about being car free is, not only is it obviously great for the environment to be sharing transport, yes, it is really important to be living somewhere which has got great public transport, which is really restrictive. And I think, having lived in a couple of places where the public transport is awful, you can't rely on it to turn up, and it means you're late for things or miss things. It's an absolute nightmare. But living in the city, it's one of those things that actually you kind of think that city living is going to make it more challenging to live simply. But actually, it's one of the things that it enables and allows you to live more simply, because all of the infrastructure's there and it's in place for you. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. And I have to say, at the moment, there are a few things that we're going to really struggle with. So going and playing golf without a car is going to be a challenge because of all the stuff. But other than that, actually, what do we really need it for? We're managing perfectly well without, and it's just been really good for the soul. I mean, obviously I don't know where I'm going to be working yet, so I may find that I actually need one in order to be able to get to and from work. So we're not saying never, but certainly for the moment, it's really helping us with that simpler life, building in the space, having time to think, and just generally operating at a slower pace. So yeah, no plans to get a new car anytime soon.